Okay, I'm gonna try this again. Hi y'all. Um, we're gonna try this. We're gonna try this one more again. One more again. I'm gonna try one more time. I changed my Wi-Fi settings, and we'll see if that's better. Okay, so today's video is about how you cannot level up without self-esteem. And this is a concept that a lot of people may not have thought of as we are on our journeys of whatever it is. Maybe you want to change your job. Hi. Maybe you want to change your job. Maybe you want to lose some weight like me. Maybe you want a better dating life. Maybe you want better friends. Maybe you want to get in tune with your spirituality. Maybe you want to start that business that you said you was going to start, or start that blog, or whatever. You need to make sure that self-esteem is a part of the process. Esteem, you can destroy your whole life. Let me repeat that. Without self-esteem, it's possible to destroy your whole life, because when we don't have self-esteem, when we're not full, we fall into the traps of society. We fall into the traps of other people, and we may not be able to have a clear mind and a free spirit. And so I want to put out there in 2019, if you know you have serious issues that require therapy or counseling, or to surround yourself with people who actually love you, make that happen for yourself in 2019. Make sure that you take the necessary steps so that you can truly level up your style, your career, your income, your network, the people around you. You can lose that weight. I believe I can do it. Like, I believe that I can be a healthy woman that is not in bondage of carrying excess weight that's not healthy for me, and y'all know that's the thing that I'm working on. I am working on my weight because my doctor says I should. And my husband is worried about me. I have a couple of medical things going on, and as I get older, I want to feel good. I want to look snatched, and I want to look together. And I can't do that if I'm out here talking about body positivity. Okay? I'm just going to continue to gain weight and blow up and be 300 pounds. And ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time to be carrying around all this excess weight that I don't need on my body. Ain't nobody got time for that. So right now, I am finding recipes for myself, and I'm trying to just find a way to incorporate healthy behaviors into my life. Because if you love yourself, if you have high self-esteem, you're going to change the things that you need to change about yourself, right? There was a time where I was in denial, especially when I was in the whole plus size blogging scene, and that was really my bread and butter. And I was making money, and I was, it felt good to be a part of a place where, we celebrated our curves, and we celebrated, the fact that maybe we had different body types that weren't stereotypically what people would find desirable. But what I realized from being a part of that community is that I was in some major denial. Because here I am, a fat woman, talking about, love my curves. Like, girl, you're not curvy, you're fat. And so, and I am curvy. I do have a curvy body. Even if I wasn't fat, I would still have a curvy body. But, and y'all know I love my shape. Y'all already know. I don't have no self-esteem issues in that area. But It doesn't matter if my shape is cute. It doesn't matter if I can pull it off. What matters is if I love myself, I am not going to support anything that deals with being overweight because that's ignorant. So even I had to change my mindset and say, Kim, you love yourself? Oh, you love yourself, but you overeat. Oh, you love yourself, but you in denial about the situation that needs to happen. Oh, you love yourself, but you're not being a role model to the young girls who are looking up to you. And so this is what I'm working on personally. I'm not going to go deep into it because I go into this in my Patreon community. Those of you who are part of my Patreon community, part 2 of this video is already uploaded in there. So as soon as you finish with this video, go over to Patreon because I have part 2 already there. All right. So you need to stop eating chocolate, Ashley. Girl, I feel you. I love pasta. I love pasta and I love bread. All right, so I'm going to give you 3 ways to improve your self-esteem so that we can level up in 2019. We're not going to be able to level up just by hoping, wishing, and praying, okay? It is going to require some serious action on our parts. And so I want to go ahead and get into that right now with you guys and talk about what true self-esteem is. So I recently read a book. The book is entitled The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. And I left the link to the book in the description box. So if you come back in later or you want to possibly purchase the book, I left the link to the book in my description box. And also I left a link to all of my books on my reading list that I recommend you reading if you're trying to change your life and better yourself. Reading is fundamental, y'all. Y'all just can't listen to what people say. You just can't watch the news or listen to what people say and base all your ideas and theories just off what people say. Actually read. Pick up a book sometime or do Audible. I have a link to Audible in the description section too. All right, so the first part of leveling up with your self-esteem from this book talks about how self-esteem is not just an idea. Self-esteem is practice, okay? So if you love yourself, and I talked about this in the video on Patreon, if you love yourself, you will actually do things that prove you love yourself. If you do not love yourself, you will just do this with your mouth and say, I wish, I hope, one day I'm going to, and nothing will happen. And so that's what this book, The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem, reaffirms. It reaffirms the idea of self-esteem is a daily practice. If we want to have self-esteem, we have to work on that every day, not just occasionally. Every day, we have to work on our self-esteem. You're not going to level up without self-esteem. You're not going to make more money without self-esteem. You're not going to get into that ideal relationship that you want to be in without self-esteem. You're not going to have a great marriage without self-esteem. You're not going to have great style without self-esteem. You're not going to change yourself, create the image that you want without self-esteem. There is no way we love these things without self-esteem. So I thought this was a really great topic to bring to the platform and a really good book that I recently read. All right. So the first thing is to practice living consciously. Okay. The practice of living consciously is the first pillar of self-esteem. And what that means is you are actually living in the moment. And you're accepting reality for what it is. And you're not trying to suppress whatever it is that you don't want to think about or whatever your reality is. You have to practice living in the actual moment of life and accept what is happening. Even if you don't like it, you have to be willing to be in the moment. And so in the book, I'm going to give you the basic idea is to make sure that you are actually paying attention to your life. Pay attention to who your friends are. Pay attention to your job. Pay attention to how you're feeling and tap into that. And you guys know part of that is being feminine. You can't be feminine if you can't tap into your emotions. You can't be feminine if you can't say, I want to do that. I desire to do that. I want to do this. You have to be honest with yourself. And this is a process as women that we have to do. We have to actually be honest with our desires, with the things that we want. If we truly are going to level up our lives in a way, spiritually, mentally, psychologically, emotionally, and also in our purpose, the reason that God put us on this earth, we're not going to be able to do that if we're not aware of what our insecurities are, what makes us uncomfortable, what our triggers are, and just everything that you need to kind of analyze your behavior. And how do you analyze your behavior? How do you tap into your femininity? How do you tap into your emotions? How do you use that to your benefit? You have to live consciously. You have to be aware. You can't just wander through life with like no plan, no thought process. You do anything. There's just nothing. You just living. Every day you just wake up, go to work, come home, take care of the kids, cook dinner, go get same thing next day. Get up, go to work, cook dinner, come home, watch TV. Like, you can't live like that, ladies. You can't live like that. You're never going to elevate to a whole nother level. You have to start thinking about what you're doing every day, how you're feeling. And that is the first pillar of self-esteem, is being aware of what you're doing in your life so that you can actually analyze how you're spending your time, how you feel, and all of those things. Because if you're not doing that, there's no way for you to have self-esteem, because you're not actually being reflective. Okay. All right. The second pillar of self-esteem from the book is to practice self-acceptance. Now, I want to explain this. In the book, he articulates, Brandon, that's who wrote the book. The link to the book is in my description box. Brandon says we can run not only from our dark side, but also from our bright side, from anything that threatens to make us stand out or stand alone, or that calls for the awakening of the hero within us, or that asks that we break through to a higher level of consciousness or reach a higher ground of integrity. The greatest crime we commit against ourselves is not that we deny or disown our shortcomings, but that we deny and disown our greatness. Okay, so let's talk about self-acceptance. Self-acceptance is really important. We need to know that there are great things within us. Okay, and we all have something that is unique to us. And we all have things that we can use to our benefit. So some of you are smart. You're smart as a whip. I mean, you got all A's in grade school. You went to college. You were, you graduated with honors. You're smart. You're articulate. You have great ideas. Some of you are, you're charismatic. People love to be around you because you're a great talker, and, you make people laugh. And when you walk in the room, you light up a room because of your personality. Some of you are just really drop dead beautiful. You're just a beautiful woman. Like, it's just nice to look at you because you keep yourself together. You know how to dress yourself. And you just awe people because you just know how to put yourself together. You're elegant, you're classy. Some of you are more mysterious. There's you're edgy, but there's something about you that people can never really touch because you carry yourself on this whole other level. Some of you are artists. Some of you are musicians. You love to sing. Some of you know how to, apply makeup well. We all have unique skills and talents. And you have to believe that there's greatness within you. And you also have to accept the dark side of yourself, the things that you don't like. You have to accept that you put on a few pounds and that you need to lose weight. You have to accept the poor choices that you made, which really is the next pillar of self-esteem. You have to accept that maybe you don't like the situation you're in. You don't like where you live. You don't like your job. There's some things that you have to accept, right? But you should focus on accept the things that you cannot change, but focus on the things that you can change. And that is the second pillar of self-esteem. Accept the things that you have no control over, that you cannot change, and change the things that you can. And then when I look back over my life in my 20s and I think about, all of the things that I desired to have and the way that I wanted my life to go and how it's all coming together, I'm just like, that's so true, because I focused on what I wanted. I focused on how am I going to elevate myself? How can I create a brand for myself? How can I create a name for myself? How can I, talk more about style, and how can I travel and do all the things that I'm doing, were things that I was thinking about 4 years ago. And so you have to have self-acceptance. Accept your flaws, accept the things that are wrong, accept the things that you can't change, because they're not going to change. But you have to be willing to also understand you're great. You have the ability to live how you want to live, within reason, within the reality of what you can do with your time, with your life, and where you're at, because that's going to be different for everybody. All right, so the third pillar, which is the last one that I'm going to discuss today in this video, and if you want the second part, you can join my Patreon community. Some of you are already a member, or just take these 3 things and roll with it. Okay. All right. This last one is the most important to me, and this is what most women refuse to do. And I say women because I'm a woman, and that's who I connect with, and that's this is what I have noticed from a lot of friends that I have had, a lot of acquaintances that I have had. It's getting dark, isn't it? A lot of acquaintances that I've had. One thing that I notice about people in today's society is nobody wants to be accountable. Let me repeat. Nobody wants to be accountable. Nobody wants to have any type of self-responsibility about where they are in life, why things are happening the way they are happening. If they have any they could have do that. Maybe it's too painful to do that. Maybe it requires you to go to a place that's uncomfortable. But let me tell you, I have had to be accountable for the poor thought processes I've had, for the poor decisions I made in the past. And one aspect, and I talk more about this in Patreon, is my weight. Just kind of being in denial about like the fact that I needed to be healthy, and I don't need to be obese. There's no fun in being obese. It's nothing cute about being obese. It's not fun. It's not exciting. I don't care what plus size blogger tells you it's the best life ever. It is not the best life ever to be on a plane and your behind is hitting both sides of the seats. That there is nothing fun about that. There's nothing fun about squeezing into a plane seat, having to have to ask for an extender. And the thing about the community, and I've said this in other videos, and I will continue to say it, especially for my young girls who are coming up, take care of your body, take care of your health. You don't need the baggage of being overweight, because it makes everything harder. It makes career harder when you're interviewing. It makes dating extremely hard. And it just makes your life harder. It just makes your life harder. And so I think for a while I was in denial about that, because everyone would say, oh, you're so cute, you're so whatever. The guys would be loving me, blah, blah, blah. But it was like, no, that it's not about that. It's about me loving myself. And so I think that that's an area, like I said, I'm not going to go into it deep here. I'll do that in the Patreon community. that was an area that I had to like, okay, Kim, you need to be responsible about the way you're thinking. And you also need to be responsible about the messages that you are sending out to young women who are younger than you, who are looking up to you. You have a responsibility to young people. Okay. And I know some people don't feel like they have responsibility to anybody. That's a trifling mentality, but there's a lot of trifling people in the world. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to give you an excerpt from what he says from the book, and then I'm done. You can watch the second part over on Patreon, and that's it. I am responsible for my choices and actions. I want y'all to write that down in a journal, and every week I want you guys to reflect on this statement, because this is the level up key. This is what's really going to make you level up. This is where you're going to be able to, whatever your goal is, hi Amber, whatever your goal is, this is how you're going to be able to level up. If you say to yourself every day when you pray or when you do your meditation, whatever you do, you need to say, I am responsible for my choices and actions. And to be responsible, not as a recipient of blame or guilt, but responsible as the chief agent and behavior. So this is not a way to shame yourself or to guilt yourself. This is a way to say, I take responsibility. Thank you, girl. I take responsibility. If I made a poor choice, if I had a mentality that was destroying my life or destroying my health, it's not to shame yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Just don't be delusional, because we got a whole lot of delusional people out here in the world. And the internet is the place that feeds the most lies and deception. You know, your places like Facebook and even here on YouTube sometimes, you know, it's the place that feeds you with flashy things like, yeah, being fat is fun. And it's not in any way, shape, or form. It's not being fun. Or yeah, you know, I love raising all these kids by myself because it's fun. Yeah, I like being sexually free because, you know, it's fun to just share my body with every man that I meet randomly. It's fun. I'm just having a ball. It's a lie. It's a lie. These are lies. These are lies people feed to you. And let me tell you, some people tell you to do the wrong thing. Let me tell you why they tell you to do the wrong thing. Let me tell you why they tell you to not believe in marriage, or why they tell you all men are dogs and all men are toxic and all men are chauvinist pigs, and you know, it's so hard to be a black woman, you know, like, oh, we can't get anything in life because we're black. Like the stuff that social media tries to feed you all day long, it's because people are miserable and they also want you to be miserable. Let me repeat. People are miserable and they want you to be miserable too. Because what's more fun than you hating your life, but you can get other people to hate their lives too. So I would be careful about what you internalize, but be accountable for yourself. We're grown women, and it's time for us to step into our role as grown women so that younger women don't have to make the same mistakes that we made, whatever those mistakes may have been, whether it be in relationship mistakes, whether it be just career mistakes, whether it be, you know, our behavior, our attitude, how we carry ourselves, whether it be a look. You know, maybe our looks are too ghetto. Maybe we need to change our look because people are perceiving us in a way that we are not. You know, sometimes you have to change how people perceive you by reinventing yourself. Okay, it's nothing wrong with that. You know, so don't be one of these people that can never be corrected. Your mama can't correct you. A friend can't correct you. Nobody can say anything to you because you do everything right. You do everything right, right? Like no one can correct you, right? Because you make all the right decisions. No, people have to be able to correct us. My husband, he corrects me all of the time. He be like, Kim, My mama, she correct me all of the time. If I need to be corrected, I'm a grown woman. I'm grown. I'm in my late 30s. I'm a grown woman, okay? My sister, she will correct me any day, okay? And I have to be woman enough to think about what they're saying and say, am I doing that? Is that how I'm projecting to the world? Am I projecting that type of vibe? Am I projecting that type of energy? And thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate all the support that you guys have given me over the years on this channel. I am really walking into woman because I no longer care what people think about me. I never really did like that, but I think I was afraid to kind of share my perspectives, and I shouldn't be afraid to share my perspectives because it's my perspective. I'm not telling anybody they have to believe it, they have to do it. This is what works for me. This is my life journey. And it's very freeing now to talk about whatever I want to talk about, whether it makes people mad or not. I'm going to say what I want because I'm in a place where I can do that. So thank you so much for the support. All right, you guys, I'm going to end with this. And if you want to catch the last three pillars of having self-esteem so that you can actually level up and not just say, I'm going to level up, I'm going to change my look, I'm going to change my life, I'm going to have a great relationship this year, this is my year, this is the year I'm going to get married, I'm going to travel, I'm going to have a baby, I'm going to do whatever. If we're really going to do the things that we say we're going to do, it requires self-esteem. You can't level up without self-esteem. Let me repeat, you can't level up without self-esteem. And you can't fool yourself. You know, you might fool other people around you, but when you're alone and it's just you and that mirror, you know how you really feel about yourself. You know how you feel about your look. You know how you feel about your body when nobody else is around. You can fool other people, but you can't fool yourself and you can't fool God. Okay? So I'm going to end on this. It was one more part I wanted to reiterate. We're responsible when we're able to respond to life's challenges as healthy human beings, not as victims, blaming this or that for our challenges, but as individuals who own our abilities to manifest our desires as we engage in life. Okay, you are not a victim, honey. You are not a victim. I don't care even if you were victimized, you are not a victim. Okay, because you have the tools and resources to change your life. If you know you need a step further than just like motivation, see a therapist, see a licensed therapist, see a licensed psychologist. It's nothing wrong with getting the help that you need to truly be able to level up in a way that's not surface. And I'm not just talking about applying lipstick and losing a few pounds. Some women have some serious issues, and you can tell, okay? You can tell by their behavior. You can tell by their lifestyle choices. You can tell by the way they conduct themselves. You know, some people have some serious issues. That's not going to be cured with a podcast or reading a book. You know, it's going to take some therapy. It's going to take some true reflection. So you have to decide where you're at in life, what you need to do, and what you need to do to elevate. All right. So that's it, you guys. My Patreon members, I love you girls. Go over to the community whenever you get a chance. I have 3 more tips for how to leveling up with your self-esteem. I also left a link to the book that I'm talking about in this video in the description section. So the link to the book is there. Also a link to all of the books that I have read that have changed my life in some way. It could be just the littlest way ever. I also have a reading list in the description box. I have a link to my community, my private community, if you want to join. If you just want to support, you can support for $1. We love your support because it keeps the community going. It's how us creators and entrepreneurs are able to do what we do. This takes a lot of time. This takes a lot of effort. And, you know, I'm sure anyone who has a platform, we appreciate the people that share our vision, share our message, share our passion. So yeah, those of you who want to continue this conversation, I will see you over on Patreon. God bless you guys. Have a great day. I will see you in my next video.